Taylor Winstead, and I'm here with Miss Waterworth. So how are you today?
I'm just great.
Yeah.
Living de vida loca.
All right, gotcha. So, have you always lived around the area? And if not, where have you lived before? No?
No. I moved to South Berkeley in March of 1990. Those of you who can do arithmetic, you know I've been here for 33 years. I lived about 3 miles from the school.
Okay.
Off of Runnymede Road for 28 of those years.
Is,
In the Golden Meadow subdivision. And then I sold my place and I moved up to Falling Waters to Brookfield subdivision. So, but I'm still in the county. So yeah, I'm originally from Baltimore County in Maryland, and I've lived kind of different places in my adult life because I've done other things besides teaching. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
So then what have you done besides teaching?
I
walked into that one?
I did. I lived in California for about 4 years in my early 20s, and I worked in business at a wholesale food distributorship with inventory and whatnot. Moved back to Baltimore, worked at Liberty Mutual Insurance Company for, re-upped my application with Baltimore County Schools.
Yeah.
Taught at Baltimore County a couple years, got remarried, lived in Montgomery County, Maryland, taught in Montgomery County, Maryland for a few years, and then we moved here.
Nice,
and I've been at, this is my 31st year at Musselman High School.
Oh,
I've been here a long time. Yeah. This is your teacher. Way back when. I have more pictures of him. He gave me a bunch. Over on my board. Yeah. So, I've been around for a while.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. We got a little history.
You did.
Yeah, we did. So how long have you been teaching in general then? Like, besides just here?
Since,
like, how many
time.
years? Yeah,
long time. Long time. I'm old as dirt. Long time.
So what made you want to teach?
I fell into it.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. I had a double major in college for school and community health. So I did an internship at Planned Parenthood in Baltimore City and worked right after I got out of college for them at Towson University campus in Baltimore County. And also did my student teaching in an inner city, Baltimore City High School. And one of my dear friends' mom was a lab aide in Baltimore County. When I say lab aide, I mean that was her paid full-time job. And she would she's a former biology teacher from Pennsylvania. And she would set up labs for the teachers and all kinds of order inventory. And she had a close relationship with Muckety Mucks from the Baltimore County Board of Education. And so I ended up in Baltimore County through Mrs. Patterson. So I'd say I just kind of fell into it.
Yeah. So is that also kind of like why you chose biology, or just happened to fall into it?
Biology was my minor, and the position was a biology position. And I like, obviously, I like biology.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't have taught it for these many years. So yeah, I don't know. My dad always told me that I like to talk, and he thought I would make a good teacher. And I said, no.
Yeah, but here you are.
But here I am. Yeah. A little aside. I love it when people ask me what I do. Well, first of all, now they ask me if I'm still working. Seriously? Are you still working? Yeah. You know, the connotation is, are you retired? No, not yet. Not retired. Oh, you're still working? Yeah, I am. What do you do? I teach high school. And then I wait for their response. And usually it's, you teach high school? How do you do that? And I said, very carefully, yeah.
Yep. Hey, yeah, might as well, And what do you love about teaching? Like, if you just...
Screwing with my students. No. I shouldn't say it that way. Posing challenges to my students. That's what I love the most. And trying to get them to think, oh my God, and apply.
Yeah.
Not bulimic learning. Don't like bulimic learning. Don't like memorizing or bleh. No, anybody can do that. My 6-year-old grandson can do that. No. Use your brain and think.
Yeah, you've always said that.
Yep, I have.
When I had her.
That's
yeah.
my challenge.
Yeah.
That I kind of think every day, how can I get my students to think, even if it's only for a couple of minutes during the class period?
Oh, hey, yeah. And what is the motivation behind your teaching methods? Does it kind of link into that? I mean, I assume it does, based on.
It does. My motivation is stand up and take responsibility for your own learning, please. Nobody's going to do it for you. Mom and dad aren't going to do it for you. Guidance counselors aren't going to do it for you. Man up, take responsibility. You may not like it now, you'll love it later.
Yeah, it's good to instill that attitude, I guess.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah. Well, I think you're good.
You love it, or you either love me or hate me. I don't know what to say.
Well, we love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So I guess it's a lot different teaching here than in Baltimore, right? So would
Yeah.
you say anything about that? Like,
Well, I haven't been over in Montgomery County for 33 years, and it's been longer than that for Baltimore County.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the different, but it's the same. I mean, it's more urban over there, but a 10th grader is a 10th grader is a 10th grader is a 10th grader.
Yeah.
You know, no matter where you are. We still have a little bit of the shades of South Berkeley here. You know, it's still a little more agrarian, still a little bit more country than, you know, where I started. And I think that's still somewhat, you know, you have a lot of families that have lived here forever. They've never lived anywhere else. And of course, I still see this with what I call my legacy students. I'm getting more and more students each year that are the children where I taught their parents, not the grandparents, parents, taught the parents.
Yeah, so you have to make sure you know.
And you're less likely to get that over in Maryland schools because they just move more often.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to think about. I never really thought about that. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, has anything is Baltimore more intense as a school district in the matter of safety than here?
I don't know because I'm the year's distance from that. I'm sure they're worried about it. Obviously, I'm sure they've got plans in place. I just can't speak to it in really specifics.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my sister-in-law is a Baltimore County bus driver in the northern part of the county, which is a lot different in and of itself than the eastern and the southern part, which is right at the city. You know, I did not grow up in the city. I grew up in the county, which back in the day when I was little was a lot like Berkeley County. Of course, it has built up tremendously over the years. But, you know, I think we all have the same problems. We all have the same praises. We have all the same joys. We all have the same concerns. I don't care where you live in this country.
Yeah.
It boils down to be the same thing. It really does.
Sure.
Yeah, they have a few idiosyncrasies, like there for a long time they gave the Jewish holidays off because they're so eclectic. I mean, they're just so diversified, really super diversified in those school systems, and you have all the different cultures from around the world represented at those, you know, the Baltimore City, DC hub, and outlying bedroom communities. All of that is reflected. So they tend to be super multicultural in everything they do, which we've not really needed to seize the opportunity for that here, at least not yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's just that's kind of the happen chance of it.
Yeah, and I can see how, like, coming from there and being here, you can definitely have a good contrast, and that's why I like talking to teachers, seeing their viewpoints.
Musselman High School is definitely a bubble. It really is. I say that in all the best ways. Definitely a little microcosm of happy, a microcosm of nice. I mean, I'm not sure that I would go to the high school that my sister-in-law drives for in the northern part of the county, maybe, or some of the other places in Baltimore County, and have students so readily hold the door for you when you're coming up the steps. You're halfway up the steps, and they will stand there here in Musselman, and they will hold the door until you're through the door. You know, and if you say thank you, they say you're welcome, they say please and thank you. My students will thank me for handing them a test. Still haven't gotten over that one. And I'm like,
Like,
You're
yeah,
welcome.
You're not going to be.
I'm
thanking
handing
me.
you a test and you're saying thank you. By the way, I love it. No, they're just everybody, the core of South Berkeley is still treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah,
And I'm not
that's a great
sure that carries through in every single school district
Yeah.
where you might visit. So I think we're special.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
that-
Like
I
we're
really
pretty
do.
polite here.
Yep.
In the climate of the school. And speaking of the climate of the school,
Absolutely.
how has it changed throughout the years? Would you say? Is there any difference?
Whoa.
Between, like, a little bit
Yeah,
ago and now?
yeah.
How
It
so?
has. It has. Your pep rallies rock, but ours back in the old school rocked more.
How so?
Literally, decibel wise, I think the old and still existing gym really rattled when we had a pep rally. And I'm not, age wise, I'm one of the oldest employees here, but of course you've got Musselman graduates that teach here.
Yeah.
You know,
noticed
Mr.
that.
Keys and Miss Miller, and you've got people, Mr. Kane, and I could go on and on. Some of the slightly older ones. And they could really speak because they were students at the old building. I was a teacher at the old building. They were students in the old building and came up through it grade 7 through 12, you know, and all of that. We were a much smaller school there. We had when we moved here in 1998 from the old building, I think there was about 800 kids total.
And now there's like
grades
double
9
that,
through 12.
right?
Now there's like 1,800
Yeah, it's like
here.
double.
So we've really expanded. We've built more rooms since we first moved in 25 years ago. Faculty really notices it. Older faculty members, we had a smaller faculty because we needed a smaller faculty. So we were closer. You know, we saw each other more on a daily basis.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I've had
And we're
teachers
more
that are
spread out now. We don't see each other as often. We don't get to know the newer teachers quite as well as we did. And my first 3 years at Musselman, I was teaching 9th grade science on a cart. I didn't
really?
I didn't have my own classroom. So I was in social studies classrooms. I taught environmental on top of sewing machines.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was all over the place. I was only in a science room 2 out of 6 periods a day.
So you had like different classrooms.
I
for
was in.
each
I had to
day.
invade other teachers' classrooms. Yes. And then my 4th year, starting my 4th year in the old building, we had a biology teacher in the science department retire, and there was then a shifting of rooms, and then
Yeah.
I got a room. Yeah.
Finally.
Which was oh so helpful. Now I still had to clean up stuff when Inwood Performing Arts because they would do their the Nutcracker and things
Yeah,
like
I
that.
remember that.
They would do that, and they used my classroom as the primary dancer's dressing room.
Oh.
I was finding bobby pins and straight pins for like 3 weeks after.
Yeah.
So like I had a macromolecule lab set up one time around Thanksgiving, and I was driving home and I remembered that they were going to be coming in like an hour and set up the dressing room, and I had all this stuff set around. I'm like,
Oh no.
crap! And I jumped in the car and I ran back over, and I could get in the side door with no biggie. I was creative like that. And I had to take everything and like put it on this huge cart and like shove it in a closet, which was my office, in the back of the room. So I had to like clear everything off and then go back in and like Sunday night before school on Monday morning and set it all back up.
Man,
So
that would be so
we
annoying.
were challenged as to space at that point in the old building. We were talking about doing Saturday school and having kids come Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We were looking at all kinds of solutions to the extreme overcrowding before the SBA finally consented to give some money towards building this school.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's crazy
it was
it took that
it was cray-cray. It was a crazy time. Yeah.
That's great insight into like the Musselman history and stuff like that. Because I wouldn't have known that. We wouldn't have known that. You know what I mean?
Well, even teaching teaching parents, even parents that I taught were in this building. They weren't. You know, I can count 2 or 3 parents that I taught in the old building. The rest of them, current parents of students I have now, were beginning years of this building.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So there's more to the teachers than just being a teacher. You know, they're also a person. So I always like to ask.
We
like,
are.
Yeah.
Oh my
Whoa,
God.
my God,
We're
that's so crazy.
people.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I always just like to try to highlight that in my
Yeah.
interviews. So what are hobbies of yours that you'd like to do outside of school?
Torment people. No. I'm kidding. I used to dance a lot. I used to dance and everything from square dancing to round dancing to hip hop to polka to waltz. I
that's
like
cool.
different community groups and stuff. Love to dance. I love to garden. I love plants. I don't really have any in here now.
Are those fake ones over there?
No, those are real. Those came from Miss Mock. The two in the red cups
okay.
are going to go to my grandkids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just haven't taken them home to give them to McKenna and Callan, but I'm going to do that.
Gotcha.
They're babies from Miss Mock's.
Okay. So would you say you're similar both inside and outside of school?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm a pain in the butt both inside and outside the school. Yeah, pretty consistent.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's fair. That's fair. So, is there anything else you'd like to mention or talk about that we haven't talked about already?
I don't think so. I think I've tried to give you guys a good reflective and current capsule
You have, yeah.
of this school and maybe one person's view of it and the before and the after, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're
This was
welcome.
a great interview.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
This is me. This is the quintessential. I had a student about 8 years ago that did this for an AP Psych class as a project when Mr. Elliott was here. And Mr. Elliott made him bring me the pencil sketch and okay it before he colored it in because it looked kind of, like witch light. And I thought it was great because I love being a pain in the butt. So, and my caveat in saying yes was, 1, I want to hear your presentation. 2, I want it when it's graded and finished. So, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.